Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Boom shakalaka done. I'd like to thank my sponsor, Better, where is it? BetterHelp, BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They're an online therapy company. They are international. They're everywhere in the world. If you're having a hard time getting into a therapist, go to BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez, fill out a questionnaire, and they will place you with a licensed professional, master's level or PhD level, either in your state or one that can do international. So thank you, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. Okay, so diving into questions. So one of the questions I got this week was, why do abusers have these weird obsessions with bodily functions? Okay, so show me somebody who is pathological and I will show you somebody who has a weird obsession with bodily functions, specifically bowels. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why, but so basically they obsess over their own bodily functions, and especially as narcissists get older and they're collapsing and they're losing control, then what's the only thing they can control? Their own kind of bodily functions and talking about it. So they will just inappropriately start talking about bodily functions, like at the breakfast table kind of thing. Or they'll be inquisitive about other people's bodily functions. And again, no boundaries. They have no boundaries, no sense of decorum, no sense of this is not the time and place. So what I have seen collapsed narcissists doing, or collapsing narcissists do, is that they will bring up bodily functions at the most inopportune and completely inappropriate times, such as at the dinner table, at the breakfast table, in public, loudly. And they're obsessed with themselves. They're obsessing, basically, is what it is. And they think because they're obsessed with it, everybody else needs to be obsessed with it, or everybody else is interested in it. And the truth of the matter is I don't want to hear what you're doing in the bathroom. Thank you very much. So, but of course, narcissists have no concept of other people or other people's needs, wants, or feelings, because they don't have any of those. So, well, they do, but they're not normal. They're not like normal people. So basically they can't see that they're being inappropriate, or they don't care, one of the two. So usually this is the older collapsed narcissists that are doing this. Not always. I've seen some younger ones also be obsessed with bodily functions and want to talk about them with total strangers. It's like, okay, that's a little cuckoo. So is it a part of the narcissism? Yes and no. I think there's a lot more going on with those particular types. Usually they're very hypochondriacal. They're hypochondriacs. They're afraid of dying. So they're looking for anything that could, oh my gosh, I need to keep track of this, that kind of thing. I mean, granted, yes, if things are changing, you want to tell your doctor, but you don't need to be looking every damn day. So, yeah, they're just weird. And they obsess over the weirdest things. Sometimes it's the bowel movements. Sometimes it's something else going on in the body. So they obsess because, well, what do they have control over? And how can they get attention? So remember, a lot of the inappropriate conversations or the obsessing or whatever is attention-seeking behavior. So yeah, and you just don't play into it. You don't play along. So if they're like, wanting to know about your bodily functions, you just go, no, we're not going to talk about that. Boundary. Know what I mean it. And that's just what you're going to have to do. They're very odd. and it's bizarre to me that they can't see that is socially not acceptable, except for the fact that they don't also see that their behavior in general is socially not acceptable. So it's not surprising that they're obsessing over a body function and them wanting to discuss it in the middle of breakfast, that they just don't get that that's not acceptable. Also, the other question I got on this too was, Grandma would ask me 21 questions after using the bathroom. Mom would do the same thing. So there's some sort of obsession going on, quite possibly. So there could be some OCD stuff that has been handed down in the family. So remember, if the behavior has been normalized, well, this is what my mom did to me and I'm going to do the same thing to you. I mean, you don't need to question people after they use the bathroom unless there's something going on, like rectal cancer or something like that. So anyway, you're not alone. I just want you to know, every time I have had to deal with a collapsing narcissist or the family of a collapsing narcissist, that is one of the things that they bring up, is that they incessantly discuss their body functions and or everyone else's body functions. And there's just no sense of decorum, no sense of boundaries, no sense of this is not appropriate, this is not the right time. They just don't do that. So what you can do is you draw boundaries and you just be very firm about it. No, we're not going to discuss this right now. If you want to talk about it after breakfast, that's fine. But right now we're eating. So I don't want to talk about your doo-doo, I mean, it's just, yeah. And realize a lot of it is intentional. So they would rather have negative attention than no attention at all. So if they can get the negative attention by doing something inappropriate, they'll do it. Absolutely. 110%. My dad was very much like that. If he was not getting the attention he wanted, he would do something heinous to get any attention. Didn't matter to him. So yeah, and that's one of the things that they do is inappropriate behavior at the dining table or breakfast table or whatever, trying to get attention. Like I said, it's an attention-seeking behavior a lot of times. And two, there's usually something else going on. The hypochondria, the need for control, the fear of dying. So many most all narcissists are afraid of dying. They have, because they're out of control. Once they're dead, they're out of control. They literally cannot control anybody, and they know it. So it terrifies them because it's like, you're going to go meet your maker and good luck with that, depending on your worldview. My worldview is, this is not going to end well for you guys if you're abusers. Have fun with that. So yeah, anyway, so that is a very common thing, especially for elderly collapsing narcissists that don't have control over anything, that don't have a life, that don't have anything to talk about, right? And they have to talk about something. So narcissists need to hear their own voice, basically. And my dog. So they will talk about bowel movements. They'll talk about body functions. They'll talk about anything in order to be the center of attention and in order to remain relevant and in order to be paid attention to. That's really what it is. So basically, you don't want to give them attention. You don't want to necessarily let them know you're completely grossed out because they'll just do it more. But you also don't want to give them the attention they're looking for. No, we're not going to discuss your bowels right now. We'll talk about it after breakfast. How about them Dodgers? Like, seriously, you're going to have to change the subject like that because that's just what they do. And they do bring up inappropriate topics. They'll try to bring up, other topics that should not be discussed at the dining room table, in the middle of a meal. They'll talk about some horrible crime that happened or something they saw on TV that's gross and disgusting. And yeah, because remember, they can't enjoy life. Their inner critic is so horrible and their outer critic is so horrible that if they see somebody enjoying a meal, they're going to ruin it for them. Just like they ruin birthdays, holidays, anniversaries, etc., etc., etc. So just remember, you're dealing with somebody that's not normal on any level. And usually the behavior is attention seeking. But yeah, they are obsessed with body functions. They absolutely, theirs and everybody else's, because they want to control. So there it is. All right, kids, on Sunday, I'm going to be talking about avoidant behavior. So avoiding things, a trauma response of avoidance. So it's dangerous, and we're going to talk about why and how to stop it. I think I need to go play with my dog. Look, he's just like, All right, you guys, have a great week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.